Hey, my global success team, this is Kathy. I want to talk to you about something today that really has been coming up in the last few days as I'm talking with people who are getting ready to burst. And there's a little bit of pushback about something, so I really want to talk to you just about that today. We think about what's the most important thing that you and I could do to get ready to do this burst. I'll tell you exactly what it is. The setup process, it's really important. Determining what your reach out methods are, really important. But what is the single most important thing you can do? It's to understand the activity trackers and the role that they play, not only in the burst, not only in getting ready to burst, but in the future of your Shackley business. And here's the reason why. I want to talk first of all real quickly about the daily tracker. I know it's hard. You feel like I don't want to, I don't really want to know. It's kind of like getting on the scale. I'm not really sure that I want to know how much I weigh. But if you want to lose weight and you want to begin changing things, it's really good to have a barometer of what is it I'm doing. Am I gaining a pound a day? Am I staying even? Am I losing a pound a day? Well, the activity tracker is very similar to that. In other words, what you need to say to yourself is, am I on track to get where I want to go? How long is it going to take me? Am I, I'm feeling, oh my gosh, I'm working so hard and yet I'm only getting 20, 30 points. Or somebody else who's saying, I feel like I'm doing stuff, but I want to know why I'm not getting where I want to go. This is the answer. And so this is going to be the core to really working together in our burst and really going forward. Because for years, I used this exact same tracker. And when I burst back in 1998 and made that huge leap in my business, this was the basis that I did it on. Now, I had a goal at that time of, I think, 200 and some, and through the course of the time as I actually went 300 points a day. And that really propelled my business forward. As a matter of fact, really, that's the business that I still have today in many regards. And so it's a very exciting idea and concept to me for each of us to be doing exactly that same thing. Sorry, the hair is in my face and it's bothering me. All right, so here we go. So let's talk about this first. Now, the idea, someone called me up because we're going to do this thing. We're going to have a 100-point-a-day club, a 200-point-a-day club, and a 300-point-a-day club. Now, if you're not participating in either of those three, then you'll be still on our regular Monday, Wednesday, and Friday morning conference calls, but we're going to have a separate call for those people who really want to step up their game. Now, I've had people already contact me and say, I figured out how I can get 100 points a day. And they kind of went through this process with me of how they were going to kind of trick me and trick themselves to 100 points. That's not the idea. The idea is that you sit down and say, what's it going to take for me to get to that high activity level where my business is growing? This isn't about me. This isn't about your business leader. This is about you being upfront and honest with yourself about what you're doing and why you are or are not getting where you want to go. And so that's really what this is about. So first of all, we fill out the daily activity tracker. If you become familiar with this before we start the burst, what's going to happen is you're going to say, realistically, what could I get a day? What am I getting now? That's big question number one. Number two, if I really want to move forward, what am I going to do? And you're going to see when I'm talking about the intensity of the burst, I'm serious. I get up in the morning during this 90-day period of time. I'm calling East Coast leads by 4, 5 o'clock in the morning for 2 or 3 hours. And I go out and hit a meetup and go to a few events and go put out some sizzle cards and go do some other things. And I come back and I respond to ad calls and I do things of that nature. And then in the early evening, I call the West Coast leads and I work that way 12, 14 hours a day. That's how you get 100 to 200 to 300 points. It doesn't happen in half an hour. Now, those of you that have another job, your mom's with a busy family, you still need to set aside the time to say, how can I get 100 points a day? Some of you are going to go for more while kids are in school or other things going on, but that's what you need to do. And then you'll fill out every day after you have your total, the monthly activity log. And what that's going to do is that's going to tell you, am I on track? Because when you look at it and you see, well, whoa, 40 points a day, that's growth, but that's really not where I want to go. 60 points a day, okay, I'm in the fast track zone, and that's probably where you are. But if you want to get into that high income zone, and that's the goal of most of us through this event, you need to do a minimum of 100 points a day. So instead of sitting and figuring out how you can game yourself into convincing your upline or for convincing yourself that you're working, sit down and say, what could I do on this sheet that is going to make a difference in my business a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now? Sit down, figure it out. Don't game yourself. There's no point in it. Figure it out and then decide, am I in the 100-point club, the 200-point club, the 300-point club? Where do I expect to get by the end of this time? All right? Our job then is to help you get there. Have a fabulous day.